Ah, look at all the lonely people.
Draw Jam!
I'm not so great at drawing crowds. So of course I'm working on a book that takes place in a high school full of kids. It's something I'm still working on definitely, especially for book 2. But I came across 3 separate methods that I think are very helpful. Trace something, map it out, hang your characters. The mapping method and the hanging method are from Andrew Loomis's Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. In general, I find the Loomis books very helpful because they fill in a lot of gaps that me figuring stuff out didn't cover. But they're not exactly beginner friendly, so if you get them and you're frustrated with them, maybe that's why. I wouldn't start with the Loomis books. I would maybe start with something more basic or just maybe some video tutorials so you can see somebody map things out. I also want to mention that when I'm demonstrating the mapping method and the hanging method, I'm going to do it in real time instead of speeding it up so you can see the speed difference between the 2 methods and which one might be faster and which one might be more accurate. That means my sketches are gonna look like but I didn't want to do the thing where I spend like hours and hours making this pretty sketch and time lapse it so it seems like it only took like 5 minutes. I want you to see the raw and dirty and ugly just so you can get a sense of what you can do with each method in a given amount of time. So this is probably going to be a long video. Tracing something sounds like it might be a big time saver, but that's not always the case, especially if you're looking for very specific poses or very specific proportions, and you can't find a reference that fits. If you are going to trace something for professional publication, please create the reference yourself. That means going out and photographing something or purchasing stock art, or in my case, creating something in 3D, run a simulation, and then tracing over that. When conventions were happening, I used to go to a lot of them, but I only recently started taking photographs of stuff. And the photographs that I did have at conventions, the crowds weren't exactly what I was looking for. So since I didn't have a reference that I'd shot myself, I decided that I would bust open Maya, find a simulation plugin, and run a simulation, take a snapshot of that, and then trace over that. If this sounds like a very involved and long process, it was, and it's not quick and it wasn't at all optimized, but that's what I did to get this 2-page spread for book 1. So here's Maya running the simulation. There's a plugin called Me Army, M-I Army, and there are a bunch of defaults. This is just running the default behavior, but you can have them walk at a brisk pace or a faster pace or a slower pace. You can change the character body type. You can model your own character and all this stuff. I didn't have time to do any of that. I just had time to use all of the defaults. This is a free plugin. It gives you 100 frames for free, and then beyond that you have to get a professional license. So I'm running the student version of Maya and a free version of this plugin. I do not recommend this method just because it takes a long time to figure out and set up, but if you're already using Maya on a day-to-day basis, maybe this is something you can do. Maybe you've already run your own simulations. You can just run another simulation, take a screen grab of that, and use that for your crowds if you have a crowd of people to draw. But this is how I used it, not the best, and you can see that these characters are all pretty generic. I think it's the same 2 models back and forth, just timed to walk at a different rate. All right, from Maya into Photoshop. So I took a screen grab of what I needed and set that as my bottom layer, and then I started layering sketches over that. So I did a light trace over of the position of the characters that you can see in this light blue. And then I turned all of that off, changed the head positions. Then I sketched in the background lightly. Then I went over that background sketch with this red pencil, quote unquote pencil. It's all in Photoshop, so It's all digital. And then I put in the hero characters that I wanted to feature. So I drew our cat girls here, and then Tara and headmistress over here. And then I filled in the rest with this loose sketch. My pencils and thumbnails all look really rough. I just want to reinforce that. So turn that off. So that's where I was for the penciling portion. And I started inking with the backgrounds, and then our hero characters, and then filled in the rest. And there you go. So I went through that in like 2 minutes, but this 2-page spread took me a week to lay out and finally ink, and then the colors took another 2 to 3 days. So the tracing method doesn't necessarily save time, but all of these characters are within proportion to each other, and it was sufficiently random enough for me to just get stuff done. So if you are going to trace, use your own references, use your own photographs, use your own models that you lay out in a wacky simulation like this. The mapping method can be really fussy, but it yields excellent results. So if you're not into tracing, or don't want to trace, or don't have the means to create your own references to trace, this is a great method for coming up with very accurate results. Probably not the best for more than 2 to 3 people in a group because it is so fussy, but it's a handy tool to have on hand in case you want to go this deep. For those interested, I'm using Sketchbook Pro. This is the free version. The pencil I'm using comes from the artist set. If you click on this button here, the brush library, it'll bring up all the available brushes. This is where I use this brush. This is where I found this brush or pencil. And then I dragged all of that stuff into my main toolbar here. So let's start with Horizon. Horizon is our friend. And we have character A here, and we have character B, a little bit, not B right here. Okay, so to map things out, to find our vanishing point on the horizon, we connect A to B and draw right on through to the horizon. And that's how we determine our vanishing point. So this is our main vanishing point. When we're going back in to construct our environment, this is the vanishing point that we will be referencing. So maybe I'll give this a nice little red cross. Well, bam. Okay, so we'll draw A to be about this height. Now to find out the height of character B, we go back to our straight line tool, connect the top of A's height to our vanishing point there. And so let's zoom in just a little bit. And to determine the height of B, draw a line from the base to where it intersects. So now we have the height of character B mapped out. I'm going to further divide these lines so we have a few more landmarks to play with. So our humanoid character, if you divide us in half, half is usually where the groin, the crotch is. So here's the hips, here's the crotch, here's some legs. I don't know why they bow out that much. Some legs, knees maybe. And then I'm going to divide this into thirds. Maybe this is more thirds. And the third, that's the top third. It's where the shoulders start in. So we can draw in the shoulders. The hands. Loosely, shoulders come up and there's our head. Give this person more of a neck. There you go. So those are the quickie landmarks. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for a quick demo. Now to find those landmarks on character B, We go back to our straight edge, draw that in here, connect it to our vanishing point, draw that in from B, connect that to our vanishing point. And so now we have all our major landmarks. We have the character's height. We know where their crotch is. And we know where the top of their shoulders are. Or where their shoulders start. There we go. So now that we have our fun landmarks, we can go in and draw our characters with relation to each other. Okay, two people having an argument. That's always fun. Let's throw in a third person. So, what if we have character B coming in from, or character C coming in from over here? How do we figure out how they look in terms of height and how they fit within this composition? So, we always want to draw our characters in relation to our horizon. So for this one, we're going to connect C to B and then onto the horizon line. So let me grab my straight edge. There we go. C to B all the way to the horizon. So we have a new vanishing point for C. However, this first vanishing point is still our main one. So when we go to construct our background, this is the one I still want to refer to. I guess I could use this one as well, but I prefer to just start here because that's where we started our composition. How tall is character C? We have no idea. So to get C's height, going to connect the vanishing point to the height of B and then on as far as we can, or as far as we think we need to go. So we're going to draw basically to there, and then connect the base of C to wherever this connects. So that's how high character C is. And then we're going to draw in our other landmarks. This is the crotch line. This is the shoulder line. So that's how we put character C in relation with A and B. Let's put that character in now. Oops. And also turn off our straight edge. There we go. Those arms are way out of whack. This is better. Hold on. Let's use the lasso tool. Okay, some lady kind of running. There we go. C, A, B, and C. All right. Doesn't make any sense unless we draw in a background. So here we go. And we're going to loosely base this off of our main vanishing point. Oh, let me choose a darker thing there. I'm going to base this loosely on our vanishing point. Oops. Always turn your canvas if you want to draw certain things. This is my attempt at drawing a car. It's very bad. So. Remember our horizon line. Oops. Remember our horizon line. If we want to draw in a bystander, we'll basically plot this out here. Oops. Bystander, we like. Turn off our mapping. And we'll have some dialogue. Car. Jeez, hold on. How dare. You broke my car. My insurance. Okay. Pretty fussy. You can go into more detail. Hopefully this makes sense. This is a very quick demonstration of the mapping method, but you can get really squirrely and really detailed with your backgrounds and your heights and stuff. And you can see that I used character C to map the general height of these two characters over here across the street watching this happen. So you can be as tight or as loose with your mapping as you want to, but as long as you know the method, you can sort of eyeball it for the most part. The hanging method is a lot quicker and requires fewer measurements. Basically, you're going to be hanging your characters on the horizon line using the same body part. So to demonstrate, let's begin with horizon. And I'm going to use a nice red here just to make it visible. And this time, to draw our characters in proportion to each other, we're going to hang them through the shoulders. So I'm going to draw character 1 here as character 1's shoulders. Character 2 is behind them a little ways back. We're going to start again, hang that on the shoulders. Character 3 is much closer, so we're going to draw once again, starting with the shoulders. Pretty quick and dirty, but you can go as deep or as shallow as you need to. More characters hanging off the shoulders. So basically, you hang each character off of the same body part. You could hang them through the eyes, you can hang them through the waist, you can hang them through the knees, as long as they're hanging off of the same body part off of this horizon line. That's the most important part about this method. So these are all terrible sketches. But if you turn off that horizon line, they still look like they're in relative proportion to one each other. And it's a really quick way to generate this type of sketch. So another thing you can do is hang your characters from the top of their head. So let me see if I can explain this. So we're going to move horizon all the way to the top of our composition. And then we're going to measure 2 heads away from horizon. So this first character, let's say this is the size of that character's head. So we're gonna move that down here, and then we're gonna start drawing the character's head here. And then we can do the same thing for a character behind them. Let's say this is that head measurement. Closer, we can use this as our head measurement. Farther away, we can do this. And so on and so forth. You can fill up this page with as many characters you want in this crowd scene. And then in this instance, you just pick a vanishing point somewhere along the horizon and then build the rest of your scene off of that. So like, you can make a cave or a tunnel. And then draw some fun stuff in there, maybe add in some more characters. Definitely add in some more characters if we have something like this going on. So you draw something like this. So the hanging method and the mapping method work really well if your characters are all the same height. If your characters are different heights, choose one of your characters to be your base that you base all the other heights off of. Map that out or hang that character out, and then draw a little bit taller or a little bit shorter in proportion to that base character. So let's say this guy is our base character, B. And we want a character that's slightly taller. So we'll just measure out our heads like we would there. So that's kind of like our base in proportion. And now if we want this character to be taller, then we just kind of scooch that head up a little bit and, draw in the proportions that way. So that's kind of how you would change it depending on height, or if that character is shorter, maybe you draw it down here. Hopefully that makes sense. For the hanging method, let me do a quick version on the mapping method. So we got our horizon, we got A, we got B, we get our straight edge, connect A to B, figure out A's height, connect that to our horizon once again. So that's our base height. So there's the height of, we'll call this A. If we want B to be taller, we can start drawing here and then do our landmarks based off of that. Or if we want B to be shorter, we can start here and then base our landmarks off of that. So hopefully that makes sense for changing the heights. I think in some ways, maybe the mapping method would be more accurate for depicting heights than the hanging method. So maybe B is a kid or something like that. And A is the parent. So those are the 3 methods I came across to help me draw crowds for this high school of alien girls. If you have other methods for drawing crowds, please drop them in the comments. I'm always looking for new ways to optimize my process, and it's something I'm confronted with, especially now that I'm working on book 2. So please, more crowds. Help me. Thank you for watching, and thanks to all my patrons listed here. If you're interested in further supporting my work other than just watching these videos and sharing them with people, you can check out my Patreon. I'm linking it wherever you see this, I guess. And have a good time drawing all of the crowds. And if your sketches look like crap like mine do, that's fine. You can still get a job. I'm managing to work in comics. Just, don't show your editors your crappy sketches. All right, bye.